European allies are issuing a stark warning to Moscow after a surge in Russian airspace violations unsettled NATO members. Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski delivered a blunt and uncompromising message. If another missile or aircraft enters our space without permission, deliberately or by mistake, and gets shot down, please don't come here to whine about it. This sharp rebuke highlights just how seriously NATO is treating recent incursions and how close Europe may be to a direct clash with Russia. The warning comes on the heels of multiple incidents in recent weeks. On Friday, Estonia reported that 3 Russian MiG-31 fighter jets crossed into its airspace and lingered for 12 minutes before being forced to retreat. Earlier in the month, 20 Russian drones entered Polish skies, prompting NATO fighters to scramble and shoot them down. Romania also reported a drone incursion into its territory, further rattling nerves in the alliance's eastern flank. Such violations are not isolated. According to NATO's own statistics, Russian aircraft violated Allied airspace or approached its borders over 300 times in 2023, many of them intercepted by NATO's Baltic air policing mission. These incidents are often dismissed by Moscow, but European leaders see them as deliberate provocations designed to probe NATO's defenses. Poland, which shares a long border with Belarus and is only a few hundred kilometers from Russian territory in Kaliningrad, is taking no chances. Denmark's foreign minister, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, went further, accusing Moscow of acting with impunity not only in Ukraine, but across the Baltic Sea and Eastern Europe. He warned that Russia's neighbors fear they could be next, reflecting growing anxiety that the war in Ukraine may spill over into NATO states. Estonia, which called the emergency UN session, presented radar data and close-up photographs of the Russian jets. According to its foreign minister Margus Tsahkna, the planes were combat-ready and carrying missiles. He called the violation crystal clear and condemned Russia for lying again, as it has lied before several times. The Kremlin has rejected the allegations outright. Spokesperson Dmitry Peskov accused NATO of escalating tensions, claiming Estonia had offered no objective monitoring data to support its case. Moscow's denials are consistent with its approach throughout the Ukraine war, where it has routinely dismissed evidence of violations and attacks presented by Western nations. The repeated incursions have triggered strong and unified responses from NATO allies. Britain's new Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper made clear that London is ready to act. Meanwhile, the United States sought to reassure European partners. He warned that either Russia is deliberately escalating or it has lost control over its pilots and drone operators, both very disconcerting scenarios that increase the risk of direct confrontation. These incidents come amid the lowest point in East-West relations since the Cold War. NATO has expanded its presence in Eastern Europe since the start of the war in Ukraine, with over 40,000 troops deployed along the alliance's eastern flank. The US alone has committed billions in military aid and stationed thousands of troops in Poland and the Baltics. For Russia, these moves are seen as threats. President Vladimir Putin, speaking at his own Security Council meeting, tried to strike a balancing act. He said Russia wants to avoid provoking a further strategic arms race, but in the same breath promised that Moscow was capable of responding to any threats with military technical measures. This dual message reflects both Russia's desire to avoid direct confrontation with NATO and its determination to project strength at home. The repeated breaches of NATO airspace are more than isolated provocations. They represent a dangerous test of NATO's resolve. Each incursion raises the likelihood of an armed response. If NATO follows through, on its threat to shoot down Russian aircraft, the alliance risks escalating into confrontation with Moscow. For Europe, this underscores the fragility of regional security. Countries like Poland, Estonia, and Romania sit on the front lines of potential escalation, where one miscalculation could ignite a wider war. With the conflict in Ukraine grinding on and peace nowhere in sight, NATO now faces the challenge of maintaining deterrence without triggering an uncontrollable spiral of escalation.